Welcome to the In My Defense podcast, where we chop it up about sports, culture, and life the way it was meant to be discussed. Bold takes, thoughtful analysis, and real talk. Nothing's personal, but in my defense, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Getting into Week 11 in the National Football League, Week 12 in college football, college basketball tipping off, NBA is in full swing. We got a whole bunch going on, so it's at this appropriate time that I bring in my frat brother, Quentin Wright McDuffie. Yo, Q, what up?
What's up, Brody? What's good?
Nothing much, man. We got a lot going on in sports, on and off the court, and we got to get to it, man. We can't keep the folks waiting today.
Nah, listen, we're going to go straight off court because some people got fired on their day off, Craig. Some people got fired on their day off, Craig. So let's jump straight into it. The Giants fired head coach Brian Daboll. He started out being coach of the year in 2022, but digressed tremendously. Got a 20-40-1 record. I don't know why they kept Joe Schoen. He kept his job, so he didn't get fired on his day off. But then we also got some people that got fired on the hardwood. Nico Harrison, he spent his tenure as the Mavericks GM for the last 3 years. His run included a 2024 NBA Finals, several key trades. Ultimately, the trade that I think got him kicked out the door was him trading Luka Doncic. Yeah. But also, let's talk about this. They only have 2 available first-round picks in the next 7 years, and then they triggered the apron tax when they signed D'Angelo Russell. Canty, I know you sound off on First Take about Brian Daboll, but I want to ask you, which firing did you not see coming, or did you see was warranted?
Oh, man, I would probably say the Nico Harrison one, but listen, when you trade a 25-year-old superstar fresh off of an NBA Finals appearances, 5 consecutive first-team All-NBA nods, and he was averaging 34 points a game, you trade that dude, and your team in the aftermath of that is absolutely abysmal, it's going to be hard to justify keeping your job. But ultimately, I would say this. We didn't get a chance for Nico Harrison's vision to come to fruition, right? Anthony Davis hurt, Kyrie Irving hurt. Now, here's the thing. I think Nico had plenty to do, plenty to blame when it comes to those guys being pushed out on the court and maybe doing too much. Kyrie Irving logged heavy minutes post-Luka trade. You're talking about games of 41 minutes, 39 minutes played, 41 minutes played, 43 minutes played, 39 minutes, 37 minutes, 31 minutes, 39 minutes, 38, and then he popped his ACL. For a guy that's 32 years old, you know that's too much of a load. So that's on Nico Harrison as much as it is an unfortunate injury that you have to deal with in sports. The same thing with Anthony Davis. He was dealing with an ab injury. He tried to push himself to get out there because of the criticism, Nico being under fire. And what does he do? He ends up straining his groin, out for the rest of the year. So the Dallas Mavs didn't cover themselves in glory in terms of how they handled that, and Nico Harrison deserves some blame. Patrick Dumont, the owner of the Dallas Mavs, deserves a lot of blame for this situation too. But guess what? The owner ain't going to fire himself, so he did the next best thing. He fired the general manager that he gave permission to less than 2 years ago to trade the league's biggest superstar.
I think you threw him under the bus. You feel me? Like, I know he came to your office. I know they had conversations. I know they talked about the trade. I know they talked about what they want to do. But from your POV, how does it look? Now, we're going to talk about the Giants because Joe Schoen did some things, and I don't know why he has his job. But from your POV, knowing that the ownership had to sign off on such of a big trade, do you think they made him a scapegoat because the fans are now saying fire Nico?
Oh, of course they did. That Washington Wizards game, the optics from that, the crowd chanting fire Nico when it's a one-possession game down the stretch in clutch time, that's a bad look. And at the end of it, it's an entertainment product. So if your paying customers aren't happy, then you have to do something to satiate them. And serving up Nico Harrison was the best thing that Patrick Dumont could do. And it's wild because you would think the fan base would be past this when you draft the number 1 overall pick and that guy happening to be one of the most anticipated American-born prospects that we've seen since LeBron James, since Zion Williamson. And I mean, if you want to go white American-born prospects, you got to go all the way back to Larry Bird. So think about that. They got that dude down in Dallas, Texas, and they still couldn't get past trading Luka to the Los Angeles Lakers. So it's something that had to be done. But now the question is, what's next? because there's no reason for the organization to sit on their hands and wait on Kyrie to come back or wait for Anthony Davis to come back. They need to be shopping those dudes immediately because they don't fit the timeline in terms of what the team's priority should be, which is building around Cooper Flag.
Yeah, and the interim GM being Michael Finley, I think is always great when a former player gets the helms. I know he's interim,
No doubt.
but let's see how that works out. But let's talk about the Giants. And I know you sound off on them. You got a chance to sit there with Stephen A. Smith and the gang and talk about him yesterday on First Take. But the fact that Joe Schoen still got his job after Daniel Jones looking like an MVP candidate right now, you shipped him off. You gave up on him. Now, I know it was 2 teams ago, but you gave up on him. Saquon. Now, you talked about that. Saquon, Russian title, got a ring and things. Why does he still have his job and my guy Daboll is out? And I know he deserves to be out, but why is the GM still sitting in his seat today?
The only answer to that would have to be the position that the organization is in terms of dealing with the health of patriarch John Mara. Now, let me say this with a degree of sensitivity because I have the utmost respect for John Mara. He is one of the finest men in the National Football League, but he is dealing with cancer. And that, if you've ever known anybody that's gone through that fight, that takes a lot out of any human being. Running an NFL team is not easy, especially when the team is going through a coaching search. You can't add another degree of difficulty on top of that by going through a general manager search simultaneously. So what I will say is this. Joe Schoen right now is in his job to help shepherd the New York Football Giants through the coaching search to find the next guy that's going to wear the headset on the sideline. I did not look at Joe Schoen being retained this week in any way, shape, or form as a vote of confidence from ownership in terms of him staying around in that role long term. I think it's for now, and depending on how the coaching search goes, depending on how the second half of the season goes, the Giants will revisit what Joe Schoen's status with the organization is in the offseason. But I just think it's a lot for the organization and for John Mara in particular to be going through a coaching search and a general manager search simultaneously in the middle of a season when you're also trying to deal with a quarterback that's been knocked around, oft injured, and not necessarily managed properly. So I think that is the state of affairs when it comes to the New York Giants.
All right, one more thing. We know that the offensive coordinator, Mike, and let's see if I'm getting better at this, Kafka? Look, I'm getting a little bit better at names, Canty. I'm getting a little bit better at this. But what do you think is going to happen the rest of the season? They already have a losing record. We know what's happening. Dart is out with concussion right now. But is he going to maybe give some energy?
Is he gonna
give a little
what?
energy. You know, sometimes you change. You know, you change a situation. You go into a new relationship. You get new dreads. You get a sleeve. You get a little bit more money. You start acting a little different. Do you think he can give a little joy, energy to the Giants, or is it just like it's about to be a revolving door?
Okay, let me run through this for you. The New York Giants, next 3 opponents before they bye week. At home against the Green Bay Packers.
Done.
On the road against the Detroit Lions. Done. On the road against the New England Patriots. So you asked me the question about what Mike Kafka is going to do. You can go ahead and take out the F, and that'll probably describe what you're going to see for the New York Giants over the next 3 games. And if it goes the way that I think it's going to go, then you probably talking about the guys making plans for the offseason, starting to ship the cars home, wrap up their leases, all kinds of things. Because players put themselves in job preservation mode. And down the stretch, play for pride is not enough of a mantra to be able to get the best out of these guys that have been in and around the NFL for any extended period of time. So, yeah, I think this is going to be all bad for the New York Giants. The thing that concerns me the most is that you're trying to develop a rookie quarterback in the midst of it. And Jaxson Dart has already been beat up. He's been in the medical tent game after game after game. It seems like I just worry about them allowing him to get the career knocked out of him before it even gets off the ground and what will amount to being a lost season.
We're not going to stay too much on this, but hey, listen, Sometimes you got to let the ones go that can't show up for you. And I mean, that's what you see in both the hardwood and also on the field. But let's talk about some winning teams. We have the Indianapolis Colts. I know we called them Indiana, Nat Town. Indianapolis Colts.
That time.
Indianapolis Colts #1 in the AFC South, and then we also have the Seahawks #1 in the NFC East, NFC West. Excuse me. The reason why I'm bringing up these two teams is Canty. They've made moves during the trade deadline, and we see that they're a lot more dominant because of those moves, especially the Seahawks. What do you see moving forward? Which team is going to be more dominant and maybe can make a playoff run?
Well, listen, I love the Seattle Seahawks and I love the Indianapolis Colts. I think the road to toe for both of them is going to be really, really tough. Indianapolis has a top 5 strength of schedule for remaining opponents. Not easy. When you look at the Seattle Seahawks, they play in what might be the most competitive division in all of football in the NFC West. So both of them have their work cut out for them. If I had to give the nod to one, I would probably roll with the Indianapolis Colts having a better shot at having a deep playoff run, just because I think they have a better shot at being able to get the #1 seed. Not to dismiss the Seattle Seahawks, because I think the Seahawks are the best team in football. But I just think the top of the AFC is a little bit softer than the top of the NFC. But when you boil it down, the two teams and the moves that they made at the trade deadline, I love the Rashid Shaheed move, a guy that is a true take the top off of the defense type of receiver. He's going to create a lot more room for Jaxson Smith and Jigba and all of those other receivers, A.J. Banner and Horton and all of those guys from Seattle to get busy. So I love that move. And it's one of the most explosive passing offenses in the entire NFL with Sam Darnold as a trigger man. So I love being able to add to a strength and fortify it in that way and lean into that identity. But I'll say this, man. What I saw from the Indianapolis Colts and how Sauce Gardner fits into the puzzle for Lou Anarumo, it's going to be something now. The Colts defense is coming. When they get Defoe, DeForest Buckner, and Travarius Ward back to go along with Sauce Gardner, it's going to be a problem. I mean, you saw the uptick in man coverage that Lou Anarumo was able to run against the Atlanta Falcons. He upped the man coverage by 15% of the snaps in the game against the Atlanta Falcons against their season average. So when you have that much man coverage, it gives your defensive coordinator the opportunity to be more aggressive, to be more disruptive in terms of what he's trying to do to attack the passing game. So I love that aggressiveness from Lou Anarumo. And we know when he's at his best, when he's really cooking, he's got to have that arrow in his quiver, being able to go to and rely on a lot of man coverage.
Yeah, but I won't lie. Let's not front. Sauce was out there looking like Ahmad. He wasn't looking like Sauce. He was getting cooked by Drake London. He was getting cooked on a couple routes.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you. He got there less than a week before he was asked to go overseas and play in London. But I will say this: he got his hands on a couple of footballs. There was one that should have been a pick six. So he was in the right positions, and you're just gonna look for him to be able to grow in that role as he familiarizes himself with the scheme. But I ain't worried about Sauce. I think it was a great gamble by Chris Ballard, the general manager for the Indianapolis Colts, because if you're ever gonna go for it, this is the year to go for it.
And if we're talking about going for it, let's change gears. I think, like I said, when we talked about award predictions, and they will soon be out on the page, I think Taylor is going to be the MVP. We might have another running back as MVP. 32 carries, 244 yards, 7.6 yards per attempt. Come on, that's love. And then 3 touchdowns. Come on, man. Do you think we're going to get an MVP?
So we should. If he doesn't win MVP this year, if he keeps up this pace and doesn't win MVP this year, then we might as well just dub it a quarterback award and move on from it, right? It's been, what, 12 years, 13 seasons, I think it was, since we've seen a non-quarterback win MVP, Adrian Peterson in 2012. So, I mean, just to contextualize the numbers that Jonathan Taylor is on pace for, 2,400 yards from scrimmage, 29 total touchdowns. For reference, that would be 150 more yards from scrimmage than Saquon Barkley had last year and twice as many touchdowns. Think about that. If that dude ain't winning MVP, then no running back can win MVP. That's just the reality of it. 29 touchdowns, man, that's what quarterbacks have in a good season. This dude is having that as a skill position player. He's having a quarterback-like impact. He's got 3 games where he's got 3 touchdowns or more. It's insane what Jonathan Taylor has been doing, man. We got to give this dude his flowers. He's balling out of his
Yes,
mind.
sir. Yes, sir. And there was some good runs at the end of that game that saved that game for them because the Falcons looked like they were fighting back. But we're not going to throw too
Yeah.
much. We got 99 problems, but a take ain't one. So let's get to it, Canty.
Hey.
Let's talk about Thursday night football. The Jets versus the Patriots this Thursday night. Patriots off a big win versus the Buccaneers. Who do you got?
Listen, man, it's hard to go against the New England Patriots. It just is with the way that they're playing. I think Drake May is hovering around an MVP level. They're in Foxborough. This team has won 7 straight games for a reason. They're great against the run. Matter of fact, they're tops in the National Football League in stopping the run. They've given up the fewest rushing yards. They've given up the fewest rushing touchdowns. They're only allowing opponents to get 3.8 a clip. So when your defense is shutting the faucet off of the running game, it's going to make it tough for a team in the New York Jets whose identity is on the ground when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. So I don't know how competitive the New York Jets are going to be in this matchup, but let me just say this. Credit to Aaron Glenn for being able to find a way to win a game after a sell-off at the trade deadline because nobody gave him a shot in hell after moving on from Quinnen Williams and moving on from Sauce Gardner. Everybody thought that the Jets were waving the white flag. And that team came out and fought their asses off against the Cleveland Browns. They had a kick return for a touchdown. They had a punt return for a touchdown. Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson were getting after Dylan Gabriel's ass. They were relentless. And Breece Hall, of course, was getting busy in the running game as well as the passing game. So credit to Aaron Glenn for being able to find a way to get a win after what has been a very, very tough first half of the season. But, I mean, just watch what he's doing. Back-to-back wins. Just watch what Aaron Glenn does in the second half of this season. Remember, he comes off of that Bill Parcells tree by way of Dan Campbell with the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell in his first year with the Detroit Lions, he went 3-10-1 that season. He started off 0-10-1. And then he found a way. He started off. Excuse me. The record was abysmal. I'm not sure what he started off with, but he ended up 3-10. He started off with an awful record, and then he found a way to be able to right this ship. So I mean, I just want folks to take a beat when it comes to this. Like they started off 0-10-1 in that season. He found a way to win 3 games. They finished 3-13-1. So watch what Aaron Glenn does in the second half of this season before you want to judge him, because folks were ready to fire him after 8 games. They were ready to get rid of him, ready to run out of time after 7 games. He's found a way to win 2 games. So let's just see what he does from
Yeah, and it's in his DNA. I think once the players are already behind him, I think he has the locker room. Let's see what happens from there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Commanders versus the Dolphins in Spain. And it's also, we're gonna call this the Q game. Every game on Sunday, the Q game, because it's my birthday. So how do you feel about now seeing those Dolphins come back and surprise the Bills a little bit? How do you think this game is gonna go versus the Commanders? No Jaden Daniels. How do you think it's gonna move?
Oh, listen, the Commanders are spry now. Marcus Mariota showed you against the Detroit Lions. There ain't gonna be no quitting them. They're gonna fight. I don't think they're a very good football team without Jaden Daniels being that force multiplier. But are they good enough to best the Miami Dolphins if Miami's not at their best? Possibly. And so I'm curious to see how this goes down. Now, no Daron Payne, obviously the incident that he had with Amon-Ra St. Brown in Week 10, he got suspended. So we'll see how that impacts the Commanders' defense. But I take the game that the Dolphins won against the Buffalo Bills and chalk it up to a good game as opposed to a good sign of what's to come for Miami. I think everybody down there is cooked, and I think it's going to be hard to sustain that level of play that we saw from them against the Buffalo Bills in South Beach last week.
What's going on with all these players crashing out? Like, what's going on? Everybody crashing out, swinging on people after the game, during the game. They just need to square up and call it a day. That's what I feel like. Give a brother 10 minutes. Give everybody 5. You can knock it all out. Let's talk about 2 teams that lost but still have a lot of promise: the Bucs and the Bills. Who you got, Canty?
Yeah. Oh, man, I got to roll with the Tampa Bay Bucs. I trust what I'm going to get from them week to week. There's too much variance with the with the Buffalo Bills. There just
Mhm.
is. Like I trust what the Bucs are, even though the Bucs lost last week against the New England Patriots. You saw that they were game for the Patriots. They were ready for that
Yep.
moment. And so I think that Todd Bowles is going to set a certain floor when it comes to how his team is going to play. And that's generally going to be a lot higher than most teams in the National Football League. So I'm going to roll with the Tampa Bay Bucs in this one, even though it feels like the Bills might be ready after getting embarrassed. It shouldn't take all of that for you to be at your best, knowing that you got everything in front of you that you want to play for. So I just like the way that the Bucs approach the game, the mentality, the urgency that they show throughout the entirety of the season, not just for certain
All right,
games.
Seahawks 49ers, 425 game. Who you got?
Oh man, I got to go with
Yeah,
ooh
it's a tough one.
the Seahawks. You talking about the Seahawks
Uh,
Rams, right?
Sunday. Oh, I thought it was 49ers. You might be right. Yeah, Seahawks Rams. Excuse me.
Seahawks,
Seahawks Rams Sunday.
Seahawks, Rams. Yeah, Seahawks, Rams. Yeah, so I'm rolling with the LA Rams, but I ain't saying it with my chest. I do believe that the very best team in football is the Seattle Seahawks, but the Rams are obviously at home. I don't know how much home field advantage plays in with the crowd at SoFi, but the comfortability, the familiarity with the environment, your game day routine, all of that stuff is more set when you're at home. So I'm going to go with the LA Rams, but we're going to get a chance to see these two teams get it on again in December. And I think that matchup could very well determine who wins the NFC West.
All right, we have Lions Eagles Sunday night football. That's going to be a good game.
Ooh,
Lions Eagles.
that's a game now. That's a
Who you
game.
got, brother?
Um, you know what? I'm going with the Fighting Kneecap Biters, the Detroit Lions. I'm going with Dan Campbell's crew. I get it. Philly is at the lake, but there's just something that's not quite right with that Eagles offense. So, for as good as I feel about their defense turning the corner, all of those young guys stepping up, the addition of Jalen Phillips, who was awesome against the Green Bay Packers, the Eagles offense leaves a lot to be desired, man. It just does. There is no rhythm to how they're doing things. And with AJ Brown's most recent comments this week, criticizing the offense, saying that they're not right, expressing his frustrations openly, whether it be with beat writers in front of his locker or on Twitch streams while playing Madden, it's all the same. It has all the same impact. It's more noise that the Eagles have to contend with. The Detroit Lions are hard enough to beat on their own. You don't want to have to beat back the noise that's generated from people in your own locker room.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions, feel a little bit better about what they got going on right now.
All right, we're not gonna wrap you up too much. We got to pay the bills. So Dallas versus Las Vegas Monday Night Football.
Oh, man, the Cowboys better win this one, man. After the tragic events during their bye week with defensive lineman Marshawn Nealon taking his own life, I just feel like that tragedy becomes a rallying moment for the guys in the locker room. And this is just the reality of guys that play in the National Football League. In between those white lines is our safe space. And when you have something like this happen, guys want to go out there and touch grass. And I think they're going to have an inspired effort on Monday Night Football at the expense of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I want to be in Vegas, but hey, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose some. But I'll be in Cabo, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. We're gonna wrap this show up on a little anchor segment called Life. Both Canty and myself have been celebrating life. Canty's birthday was Monday. Everybody, please make sure you go to the page, wish him happy birthday, send some love to him. And my birthday will be Sunday. So Canty, as we reflect on this year, first things first, sports is the intersection of everything for us and what we talk about on the show. How has sports changed your life and how has it taught you some things?
Oh man, sports has taught me self-reliance. It's taught me discipline as a man, and it's helped me grow into who I am as a person. I think you go on this journey of self-discovery as a young man, and when you have the opportunity that I had to play in the National Football League, a lot of it, a lot of what you go through is under a microscope, and you're put under a tremendous amount of pressure to
Yep.
perform. And I think it's in those moments where your character is revealed. So I think the biggest thing that sports has done for me is show me who I am. It's developed me as a person. It's developed the characteristics that help you to become successful. But I think the most important thing is that it was revelatory in terms of showing me the type of man, the type of person that I am. So I am forever grateful to the game of football for being able to do that for me, and reveal that to me and continue to reveal that to me as I continue to be involved with sports, just in a different capacity as a guy talking about it as opposed to playing it.
No, I agree. And for those that listen and watch, I'm former NCAA track and field athlete, and for me, track has opened up my horizons to travel. Growing up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, single mom, we got a chance to travel, but just not as much as we wanted to. Now, because of my legs and my speed, I've been able to see the world. I've been able to get an education for free. I've been able to build connections and networks and build bonds with brothers. And if it wasn't for going to school, I wouldn't have been able to maybe be a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. If it wasn't for Kappa Alpha Psi, I probably wouldn't even know you either, Canty. So a lot of things have ripples. So
Yo,
I think sports has always been for me, a way to drive my my passport in life. It's punched a nice ticket for me, and I try to do my best by giving back. If it's giving out spikes, if it's just telling somebody a little bit more about how you run a little dorsey flex or hit your drive phase a little bit more, I want to give back and lend that helping hand and that passport ticket that it gave me in life for future athletes. And I think you've echoed everything that sports has taught: resilience, discipline, make a way out of no way. And I, I hope and pray that energy, that those lessons, we just trickle down to our kids if they pick up a football or they grab a baton. We want to make sure that they know that and they
yep.
understand it. Now,
But here's the
mhm,
other thing. Here's the other thing. Sports teaches you that whatever it is that you care about, that you love, just be passionate about it, care deeply about it, and you'll give yourself the very best chance to be successful at it. Right?
100%.
Like sports teaches you that you can't. The great thing about sports is that you can't lie to
Oh
yourself.
no.
You can't lie to yourself. It'll tell you the truth about yourself. You can't lie to yourself, and so I think that's something that that's a lesson that a lot of young people um, would be would be well to learn this day and age. Like just being honest with yourself, and that's the great thing about sports. Like teaches you that whatever it is that you're trying to do, you got to be passionate about it in order to be successful. You got to be on fire about it in order to be
Don't
successful.
cheat the game. The game will cheat you. That's one thing sports will do. You can't cheat the game. It will cheat you.
Hey, listen, the game will pay you
Oh yeah.
back. The game will pay you back. Whatever it is that you put into the game, it will pay you back,
Now,
no doubt.
personally, what's one thing this year has taught you?
Ooh,
And then we'll go to
one
wins and
thing that
losses.
that 2025 has taught me patience,
Oh
my
yeah.
man, patience. Patience. Listen, my mom and I joke about it all the time because she's a pastor, and we always say that God is a Methodist because if you try to skip steps and get ahead of God, He's going to bring you right back to
Mhm.
one. Shout out to Brian. Now he's going to bring you right back to one, and then you're going to have to repeat the process until you get every single step that He wants you to
Yeah.
get. So you get the lesson, the fullness of the lesson that He's trying to teach. So patience is probably the biggest thing for me. Just learning how to continue to be patient, to wait on God, and allow things to happen in His time, and not try to force the issue in my own.
No, I agree, and I think this year has taught me how to rely on my community. Suffering a loss of my mom this year, and I'm very much one of those. I'll figure it out myself. I'll make it work. But when you lose the patriarch of your family, the person that taught you right from wrong, up and downs, you find out one how much that community matters. So anyone listening, anyone watching, I appreciate everybody in my community with the last name McDuffie, McClellan, Brigman, so on and so forth. I've learned the art of having family lift you up in those moments when you can't lift up yourself, but also understanding that we're a part of a bigger legacy and a bigger journey. And not physically having her here, I see so much of what I do, and then people come back to me and say, "Your mom will be proud." And something I tell my kids all the time is, what made me happy is when my mom would come to the school, the professors would run up to her and say, "You did a great job with your son." You
Oh
that
yeah,
that that
oh
that
yeah,
made me more proud than any
that's dope.
medal, any trophy, anything. But this year has just taught me how much that community means, and just keeping your strength, keeping you in one, keeping you consistently going down the right path. And then, we can talk about our queens Canty of all time. So the community of having those strong women behind us, being that neck, so we can be able to be the head and move the right directions. I think with stability in that community has shown me so much, as one that really doesn't like relying on people, but I've learned how to rely a little bit more this year than before. So, big
No
lessons,
doubt.
wins and losses. Canty, what's your win for the week?
Oh, Jonathan Taylor, man, 286 from scrimmage, 3 touchdowns, game winner in overtime across the pond in Berlin. Absolutely phenomenal season. Like I said, MVP campaign. If he can't win MVP, keep it up this pace, then no running back or non-quarterback can win MVP. Jonathan Taylor, my big winner this week.
Okay, I got a stackable win. I got like 3 stack wins, but you got to bear with me, Canty. One, shout out to NYA Fall 13. This is from your ADP. Happy Noopversary today. We're recording
Hey,
on Wednesday, so
hey.
November 12th is their Noopversary. But also shout out to the 4 Club, Kari Dorsey, getting married this weekend. I'll be present at the wedding this Friday. I'm happy and I'm proud of you for taking a second chance on love. And then last but not least, I got 2 birthdays next week. I also got my life birthday, my physical birthday, November 16th. But I
Yeah.
also got my Kappa birthday, November 22nd. Shout out to Full 10.
Hey
Alpha
now.
Gamma, Full 10. Love you guys. It was 12 in, 9 out. So we did a good job building a bond, and I appreciate my line brothers. I appreciate every little journey and every friendship and relationship Kappa has brought for me. But I also appreciate God for giving me another year of life and another circle around this globe. So I appreciate it. Losses, Canty.
Amen. Oh, Nico Harrison, man. He caught the fade. They got his ass up out of there, man. What are we? 12, 13 games in the season?
Uh-huh.
Like they hey dog, we'll holler at you. Raise up. Nico Harrison, yeah, getting fired. And like you said, on his day off. Nico Harrison never got a chance to fulfill the vision that Nico had with defenses winning championships. The irony of that is Dallas Mavericks defensively
Hmm.
top 3 rating in the NBA. Offensively, 30th
Yeah.
in rating in the
They
NBA.
shipped off their offense.
Deep defense don't matter if you can't score, dog.
No, no, not at all, not at all. But what I would say, my loss for the week, and I mean it's pretty straightforward. My let me see. I got a lot, but I think my biggest loss for the week, honestly, is seeing Jaxson Dart get hurt the way he is. And I won't say it's a loss
Yeah,
for Jaxson Dart. I say it's a loss for the New York Giants. And
yeah,
to me, it's echo to why Brian Daboll got fired. Now I heard this story that was it a game or two ago when he got into the tent and Brian Daboll was like, "I need my quarterback back out there."
yeah, yeah,
You haven't
yeah, yeah.
shown that you want to make sure this guy stays healthy. You haven't shown that you want to protect him. So you lost your job. But Jaxson Dart, brother, I think you're the future of the franchise. And I know it might be too early to say that, but I think you've shown every glimpse that you can be the future of the franchise. And New York love you. You got swag, you got drip. Do not, do not risk your health trying to make every run a little further, get an extra yard. I had a college coach that used to tell me, just get down. Brother, just get down. It's that simple. Canty, let them know where they can find
Yeah.
you at.
Oh man, you can find me at Chris Canty 99 on all social media platforms. Also, you can check me out on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU, weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Also on at Unsports on at Unsportslike on all social media platforms as well.
Listen, you can find me at QE_Beeman1 on all platforms. And remember, like, subscribe, hit that like, subscribe button.
Hit that
Yeah,
little
that little
button. Hit
button.
that
You hear the thing,
little
you know
button.
it's gonna
Button.
ring. Every time we got a new episode,
Yeah.
you'll learn about it. Follow us on.
Hey, listen. When you hit the button, good things
Oh,
happen.
yes, yes, yes,
When you
yes.
hit when you hit the button, good things happen. Just keep hitting the
Yes,
button.
sir. Follow us also on social at In My Defense Pod. And at the end of the day, there's never nothing personal. But in our defense, we appreciate y'all.